If you're seeing this, it means I have survived and I was successful. That'd be pretty cool. Welcome back, guys. Your man Porter here with the Unnamed Project. I've been very, very busy here, so I started this immediately after the last video, and however long past me talking in the future, you know what's up, right? If you guys haven't been following here, what we have basically is we supercharged a 7.3 IDI, and now we have the donor vehicle. So this beauty here is a 73 F350, came with a 360 FE 4-speed on the floor. Works great, I have nothing against it, but this just happened to be the donor vehicle. So let's just get into it. All right, America, freedom, and all the above. Ooh, it's time. It is time. We are taking the front end apart. Insert time lapse. Hey, if I got you guys this long, might as well go hit the old subscribe button. It's the button below the screen that says subscribe. I do all this stuff for you guys, so the more of you guys that I get on board, the crazier we can get with our builds. Let's get back to it. Well, geez, folks, pardon my, environmental shower that's going on right on my face here, but we got the most of it done. The amount of hacking that I had to do in the cab to get that transmission to go is insane. But you know what? It's in there, couldn't care less. Now the issue that we have is we're trying to align the engine both this way and then this way, right? I'm running into a couple things over here. I'm gonna have to remove a few brackets and whatnot, but all in all, not too bad. So what I'm gonna start doing here is basically just measuring everything out, making sure she's nice and straight, and then I believe I can use the factory brackets. I just have to modify them a little bit. So just basically trim them up so they can fit where it goes, because this engine is physically larger as well, right? But no, so far so good. Let's keep rocking. Okay, so measured everything, did some little mounts, installed them quick. This is hopefully the last time this engine comes out of here until I decide to come out again. Whatever. Something's happening. So the only kind of thing I have to do here was to take out the Y, the exhaust Y. Give myself a bit more room here. And pieces of floor missing. Pretty sure the time lapse caught that one. Lucky for me, this engine doesn't weigh anything. Okay, I have to go set up the transmission here. Oh, life is painful. So all I'm doing right now basically is I'm jacking up the back of the transmission. I'm trying to, where's my convincing bar? Ooh. Quite a ballet, I must say. There we go. Okay, so both the mounts are engaged. Wow. There we go. Okay, so that's done. Now we're going to get cracking on the transmission mount, which I don't think I can reuse the factory one. Of course, right? All right, guys. Kind of thought I'd show you what's going on back here. So basically the back end of the transmission here, my jack contraption, and then my cross member. So luckily for me, all I'm going to do is drill 2 holes because you can see there's nothing in there right now. And I have these bolts here, these studs, if you will. Those studs back there have to go through, and that's what physically hold my transmission. So just gonna measure out basically where they are. And then afterwards, I'm gonna drill through the bottom here, put spacers to the appropriate height because the transmission sits just a tad too low right now. Although I have next to no clearance, it's still too low. And then, yeah, this engine will be mounted. Went ahead and put the front clip back on here. Honestly, it was the same as taking it off. It just fell right back into place. So it's just loosely held on right now. We're at the point here where I'm kind of lost with what I have to do. So it is time to make a list. Okay, so for lack of a pizza box, we's gonna use the back here. So what do I got left to do here? I have the coolant hoses, the starter, the hood. I'm gonna put cut here so we kind of know what's going on. Oops, not cute. My God, that hood is gonna be cute though. All right, the drive shaft. That one's gonna be a big one. Shart. I'm having a hard time today, folks. What else? Ooh, the clutch. Clutch pedal, I guess. Then I got to fab up a floor plate because I'll show you in a bit here. Basically what I had to do to fit the transmission, I cut the absolute living everything out of the floor to get that thing to fit. So still got to do quite a bit of work there to get the drive shaft to fit. In a nutshell, got to remove the seat, got to cut a hump, and then got to do some other work back there, but not quite there yet. If I can get everything to start and run on its own power, that'll be a good start. But yes, drive shaft. Sorry, not drive shaft, the floor. Floor panel, there we go. Okay, what else do I got? Shifter. We're gonna have to rig up an electric fan. I guess wiring. There's quite a bit of wiring to do. All right. Mr. Freiberger and Mr. Steve Morris would be very disappointed that I did this on the back of the truck, but you know what? It's gonna add character to this. So, what am I gonna do first? Go with the coolant hoses, I guess. Something about 1 step forward and 2 step back. Whoops. Probably need that. Throttle? I think there's 1 T too many here. Okay. Let's bolt the engine right now, it'll be done. Whew, that was a pain for sure. You can see there's a little bit of a heated, how can I call it? Heated self-clearing thing going on right there. Yeah. The only thing I got left to do is I gotta change the position of that terminal. because this is positive and it's a little bit too close to the frame. So basically I'm just gonna unscrew this, turn it back up, but I gotta change the color of the wire anyways because right now the wire is black and I don't want that. So with that being said, I think I'll go with the throttle linkage. The problem I have with this one is that the throttle, of course, is on this side and Fords have their linkage on the other side. So I'm gonna have to, I don't know what. I'll sort something out and I'll get back to you. Yeah, we're doing pretty good. Doing pretty good, actually. There's a couple of things I've been kind of, I don't know, doing. Not skipping, but just putting to the back. And I think we're there, unfortunately. We're there. So I went ahead and mounted the starter. That one, as you just saw there. The engine I bolted down as well. Wow, this is a good marker. Luckily for me, I have 7 backups. All right, cool. That one's done. That one's done. So it leaves a few things. Throttle, I went ahead and ordered, hey, stay there, you. There we go. Throttle, I went ahead and ordered a cable basically, because the problem I have is that the way these pumps are designed, the pump is on this side and my throttle's on this side. So I need a way to kind of loop-de-loop from, and that's about 40 inches or so. Gives you a rough idea. So that that cable's coming. The wiring I started doing a little bit with. I don't have the right crimps right now, so what am I saying? Who cares? Anyways, editing. Editing is key. So where was I at here? Throttle cable, ordered, good to go. Hood, I'm gonna do that completely at the end. Drive shaft, that is coming up, right? But I think right now what I'm gonna do is these two right here. So basically get our clutch and get our floor panel sorted out. So in a nutshell, again, I had to cut the floor is cut up. Oh my, the floor is cut up. So that hump where the transmission usually goes, oh, little dog in there. That hump where the transmission usually goes, that's out right now. And then due to where the clutch goes, I actually have to cut almost like into the floor. So I'm gonna have to potentially relocate the gas pedal. So what I'm gonna do, we're going to set up in the cab, get some lighting in there for you guys. Most likely gonna remove the seat, right? And then, oh yeah, let's get into it. Start cutting. Ting get cut. Oh, well, hello. So, as you can tell here, this transmission is massive, like absolutely massive. So the issue I had to cut part of the floor here to pass the hump for the clutch cylinder. There we go. And then I had to cut a piece of the firewall to be able to pass the shifter assembly, which I should definitely cover because there's going to be some dust in here. Now the other problem I have, everything fits back here, no problem. The yoke is really, really close to the floor. I'm not a big fan of that because there's always a chance that something moves, it's going to hit the floor, so I'm trying to get at here. So what I'm planning on doing, there's a rib that goes right here. You can see all the spot welds. So I'm going to cut past the rib. So follow the line from the inside, something like that most likely. Bam, bam. And stop. We'll stop right here just to make it easy on the fabrication afterwards. Cool. So we're going to cut that out. Once that's out, then I can start mocking up the drive shaft to see if everything lines up. So first step, get this piece of floor out of here. Something a little bit like this. Well, folks, something I've been dreading here for a while. I got to do another drive shaft. If you guys remember one of my previous episodes, I went through my procedure on how I do one of these drive shafts, right? It's going to be a little bit harder with this one because it's on the floor. I can't have it on the lift, but I'm going to do exactly the same thing. So first step I'm going to do, obviously, is cut the end off so the end of the yoke comes off. I already have the dimensions I need, so I know that from center to center, I'm going to need 39 inches. So first thing I'm going to do, like I said, cut the end off. Then afterwards, oh, got a little leak over there. Cut the end off. Then afterwards, cut the part that I need off of it, jam everything back in, and then just tack it quick by just by using a measuring tape, basically. Tack it in place, and then put it in the truck, spin it, align it. Good stuff, really good stuff. Let's get cracking. So I ended up working on the throttle here, ran out of time, so I said, you know what, I'll just get the little things done. So the problem I have is that the throttle, the linkage is right there, and on the other side of the blower, right down, oh, you can barely make it out. Right down there is where the pump is. So initially what I thought about doing was to get a cable that went all the way across there and then back on the other side and looped back. It didn't work. It didn't work. So I had to make just a crossover linkage basically. So what I did, I took a piece of all thread, try to get a good angle, get a little better for you guys there. Took a piece of all thread, passed it through this tube. The tube is secured through this little bolt here, and the other one right there. That goes all the way across. It's just tacked for now. I didn't finish it. But in a nutshell, there's a cam right here. When you activate the throttle, right, it pulls on the cam. Then that rod goes all the way through to, oh my God, this is a tight spot. There we go. You can just see the end of it here. Give me a sec, I'll try to give you a little zoom. So the end of the rod is right there, right there. Then there's another cam up there. The the original adjustment, and then you can see where the ball and the spring is there. Right down here, my pinky is. And that's on the pump. So, that being said, throttle. I'm sorry you had to witness that. Okay, what I want to do here is I want to attack a little bit of the wiring. So wiring on this is extremely simple. I got basically one plug here. Well, the plug got removed, but there used to be all into a plug here. And that's all I got for the engine. So what I'm going to do is the same that I always do, and what I recommend you guys do when you start attacking wiring is find what the wires do and label them. Once they're labeled, you don't have to find a second time what they do. Little piece of masking tape comes off super easy. So for example, I know that these two right there go to my glow plug relay. So they're my power on for the, or not power on, they're the supply source for the glow plug relay. So power, I'll just put plugs on there so I know. Okay, cool. So power for the plugs. What do all the rest of these wires do? So you have to think about the accessories, right? So for example, we have the fuel bowl heater that's here. You can check and see fuel bowl heater and the fuel pressure sensor are all in that same line. So the fuel pressure sensor, I can tell from this line, you probably can't see it from that angle there, but it is gray and red. So then I can start looking through here. Bam, gray and red. That's another wire I can identify. Same thing, little piece of tape, doesn't need to be much. Pressure sensor. Cool. So in a nutshell, I'm going to go through, identify as much as I can, and a lot of the times you can't identify what they do because it's for an accessory of some sort. So you'll go into the plugs. I believe I tossed the plug that this was on, but you'll go into the plug, and then the receiving side of it's just going to have no receptacle whatsoever. So then you know at that point that wire is pretty much useless. So we're going to go, like I said, connect as many as we can. I have to keep an eye out. Oh, sorry. Another thing too is find the wiring diagram. So on my phone, I have a picture of what most of these already do, but there is a few that I don't have anything for. So for example, anything to do with the fuel bowl, I don't have. Anything to do with, what's the other accessories that are here? I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's a few other accessories there that I couldn't find exactly what they did because the wiring diagram I found was for the glow plug relay specifically. So yeah, I'll just go ahead, try to label as much as I can. And then if I can, I'll just plug them up to a 12 volt keyed source as needed, or grounds, or whatever the case may be. Well, the ignition looks a bit like a nightmare, but you can still see what I was talking about though. I labeled everything. These are the original wires from the truck. I don't have a plug to replace this one right now. So for the time being, they're crimped in there. The rest of these, definitely have to do something with. So for example, there's the fuel heater right there. The fuel heater, I'm going to leave it always on. Then the wait to start light, little things. Some of these other wires here are all for accessories or other things that I'm not going to be using. But for now, I've tried it. Oops, I need to replug this. There you go. I tried it, so now on the key, the relays turn on, the pump turns on, and on the start function, the engine turns. So for the time being, all right, just spent a little bit of time on our fuel system. We got our return line plumbed in. All I did is just tapped into the tank. There's a drop tube in there, and then there's some special sealant up in here. The original pickup is just the right size, so we're going to leave that as is. And then, I do apologize, I've been doing some work off camera, but I'm focusing a bit more on the end result here. As you can see there, that clutch engagement cylinder has been installed. Then went ahead and retrofitted the other part of that cylinder up top here. Basically all it is, it's these two plates sandwich the center here. There was no physical bolt holes, if you will, to hold that in place. So it's just two plates. They pinch the center, a nut in the back side. Remote reservoir, nice and close to the front, but still still higher than our cylinder. So all the air is still going to come through here. This one's a little weird. It has a bleed screw right here. Don't really understand the system, but I'm not going to argue. It's going to function. What to do next? This one I have not here. This I'm going to wait for this dude. I don't want to start that dude, which leaves me, yeah. All right, let's get into that. I'm looking forward to this one. So cutting the hood was like the reward? I don't know, whatever. The reward that I was looking for, or saving until the end. So iconic as it may be, I don't know. Having something sticking out of the hood is it's pretty badass. I'm visibly excited, I'm pretty sure. This is my level of excitement. Before I do that though, so on the other side of this, I traced out already the parts I want to cut. It's just a lot of measuring, so Fords are pretty lucky because they have that kind of little peak in the center, and they have that on the body as well. So I just measured from the peak and saw basically what I had to do, did my measurements from that. Now, an important consideration is that you're taking away all of the support that holds this hood together, mainly this rib right here. So I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'll get a better angle. So I got to cut through all this and through the center here. So before I do that, I don't have a whole lot of room in the back here, unfortunately, due to the nature of where the blower is positioned. But I'm gonna put a piece of angle iron into the back here and try to tie it as much as I can outside of where I'm gonna be making my cuts, just so I can, you know, give it a little rigidity because it's gonna try to flex on me. Then afterwards, once everything fits over the blower like I want it to, I'm going to put, I got a little tiny piece of drill rod here, and I'm going to just fold it, or bend it, sorry, and tack it in place around the whole opening. That'll give me a lot of rigidity that way. Oh, well, I don't know, cue time lapse, I guess. Don't overestimate the importance of friends when you're putting up a hood like this. Holy. Well, at first observation, I could tell you I'm gonna have to angle these a little bit. I'm still worried about the back. I haven't tried it yet. Enough talking, let's just do it. Oh my, it might just fit perfectly. Oh, well. Not bad, not bad. If anything, you can tell I cut it a little bit too wide on this side. You know what I mean? But all in all, I think it won't be too bad. I think it won't be too bad at all. Oh, this thing is amazing. All right, I think what I'm gonna do right now is start working on the Mohawk kind of hood scoop thing that I got. So what I want is to use as much of this as I have, and then I have bolting points up here. Now, the hood's gonna have to get cut again, but that's because of the air intake. So what I'm planning on doing is taking the air from underneath. I don't wanna ram air because it's gotta be functional, right? So rain, snow, it doesn't agree too well with that. So, ooh, or I put a filter in the back. Now, regardless, it's gonna be like this, and then it's gonna be pipes coming into either the side or completely in the back, and the air will come from underneath, more or less in this area via a pile of pipes and all that stuff. Okay, hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing here. I'm gonna be playing with something called silicone bronze. So I went ahead, cut some of the parts that I needed to do my scoop, right? I took the rest of the piece of metal that was there, did some cuts on the side so I can bend it. And then I got a profile that I kind of like, or at least something I can play with right now. So I cut this. This is, I believe, 21 gauge. I'm not quite sure anyways. Current automotive grade, whatever the hell it is. So silicone bronze is really good when it comes time to working with really, really fine, thin materials. And I have another project coming up here where I'm going to be working on something, an older car, my baby. Anyways, so I want to start practicing a little bit. So I'm going to take the opportunity here. I went ahead and cleaned one side along the edge of where I'm going to be soldering this. And yeah, let's see what's up, I guess. I guess I need a ground, don't I? Probably a good idea. Wow. Wow, 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 is all I gotta say. Not bad, not bad. All right, I'm gonna try to clean that up and then I'll show you guys what it looks like after. Well, this is after cleaning it up. I have to say I'm pretty impressed. Oops, I left a little tiny bit there. Whatever. A couple little pinholes, but I mean, this is not... What I like about it is that the base metal didn't melt once, nor did this metal melt. So when I came in, I just, you know, got my pool going, started pulling or pushing. Actually, I actually tried both of them. And some places got a little better than others. Some other places didn't quite get the coverage, right? But it is still soldered though. You can tell on the other side because it has about 1/8 of an inch of flow in between the two parts there. But no, finish is really, really nice. I like it. I might use this stuff a bit more in the future. I'm gonna go ahead and solder the other side on here and then go to the next step. Oh, well, there is a V1. So in a nutshell, I just made a little bracket or a frame, if you will, that's just big enough to get the bolt in my hand in there. That squeezes the gasket. Then what I'm going to do in the future, not right now, is I'm going to get pipes that go back under the hood to get air from somewhere else. But for now, I'm calling this a done. Let's see what it looks like from the front with all the tools. Holy! Oh, the part I've been dreading here. So there's a huge hole in the floor. Actually, there's holes that were caused by time, which we're not going to address, and holes that were caused by some Sam squanch that we are going to address. So this used to cover the hole in the floor for the transmission. Yeah, I'll show you what I got to do here. The issue I have is this giant hole, obviously. So the pan used to be something like this, but now, of course, that ain't gonna work. So I'm thinking reusing part of this because it's got the folds in it, so it's nice and strong, and then just kind of raising it a little bit like that, and then finishing off the parts that I need afterwards. So what I'm gonna do here quickly is I'm going to measure how much steel I have right after I cut the perimeter of this out, because obviously the perimeter is not going to work anymore. Then we'll start cutting some steel. So this is the first test try. It's not bad. What I'm planning on doing is I'm going to put a couple self-tapping screws on both sides just to hold it in place. Then I'll start measuring. I'm going to do the back first. I'm going to do the back because I have a feeling I'm going to have to cut this at a slight angle. So we'll tack them in, or sorry, we're going to screw them in, then put the seat back in so I can see what's going on, and then take the seat out again. After a little beating around, this is basically what I got. So what I'm going to do, initially I had to cut the floor to make room for the drive shaft. So I'm going to continue this pan until about up to here and terminate it. And then I'm going to plug up this hole just at the time being. But all I have to do is make a little piece that comes from here, swoops down there, little flat, right? Because I need to have the flat to go across. And then I'm going to take the part, put a couple screws in, take the part out, and then finish welding the thing. So no time like now. I ran out of time and I want to get this video out. So I got enough to protect myself. The shifter's another story. I'm gonna have to sort that out. But in the grand scheme of things, ooh, it's outside. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna take it for a little spinny poo. Oopsies. Well, there you have it, folks. I hope that wind's not effing with my sound too much there, but holy. This was a whole lot of fun. I obviously got a little bit of tweaking to do. First impressions, not enough fuel. Oh my God, there is so not enough fuel. So obviously need to get a bigger pump. To tell you how much little fuel there is, it ran better when the blower belts were off. It gives you a rough idea, right? So it's leaning out so much and then it's getting super hot and all that stuff. So next in the cards, we're going to be ordering a pump for this. We can't do it right yet though, because obviously budget always becomes a problem when it comes time for big upgrades like that. Pumps are like 2,000 bucks. But hey, I'm super open to all your comments and suggestions. What could I do to make this better? What did I do wrong? Obviously, all that good stuff. Just go ahead, look down, leave a little comment, and yeah, that'll be it for this one. Your man Porter signing out. We'll see you on the next one.